Mr. Kim, Mr. Kulshresht, Anirudh and Taehyung came here to visit the site. Anirudh, please show Taehyung that side. Me and your dad are visiting this side till then. Mr. Kim said while pointing his finger on another side. Okay, uncle, Anirudh said and nodded. Taehyung and Anirudh then both left for the other side, and Mr. Kim and Mr. Kulshresht were roaming this side together. Mr. Kulshresht, since I came to India, so I'm thinking about doing two important works. Mr. Kim spoke up while walking, making Mr. Kulshresht look at him. Two important works? Mr. Kulshresht asked in a confused tone with furrowed brows. Yes, Mr. Kulshresht. The first one is to make Taehyung see of my company, Mr. Kim said, making Mr. Kulshresht smile and nod. And what's the another one? Mr. Kulshresht asked him and stopped walking. Actually, Mr. Kulshresht, I'm thinking about Taehyung's marriage. In fact, I want him to marry an Indian girl. Mr. Kim spoke up, making Mr. Kulshresht raise his brows. An Indian girl? Then it may take some time. It might be possible only after Taehyung becomes a CEO, as he hasn't met any girl yet, nor he has any friend. Mr. Kulshresht said and again started walking. No, Mr. Kulshresht, it won't take much time, because I've already found her. Mr. Kim said, making Mr. Kulshresht frown and confuse a bit. You found her? But how? I mean where? Mr. Kulshresht asked him with his widened eyes. At your house, Mr. Kulshresht. That girl is Vayan. She's a very well-mannered, innocent and frank girl. She's perfect for my Taehyung, so I want them both to get married. But it's only possible after your consent. I wouldn't force you, so don't worry. Mr. Kim spoke up with a smile, making Mr. Kulshresht look at him. No, Mr. Kim, why would I refuse to such a beautiful relation? I accept this relation from the bottom of my heart. Mr. Kulshresht said with a big smile, making Mr. Kim smile back. But, Mr. Kim, have you asked Taehyung about it? Mr. Kulshresht asked Mr. Kim in a serious tone. No, I haven't asked him yet, but I know he will never refuse to marry Vayan. Mr. Kim said and smirked a bit, making Mr. Kulshresht nod. But you must ask Vayan, as I don't want to compel her. Mr. Kim said, making Mr. Kulshresht nod and hum in response. Don't worry, Mr. Kim, I won't force her. Mr. Kulshresht said in an assuring tone, making Mr. Kim smile slightly. Taehyung and Mr. Kim were standing together as Mr. Kim called him in his room to discuss about his marriage. Taehyung, I called you here to ask you a very important question. Mr. Kim spoke up and shifted his gaze at Taehyung. Important question? What's it, Appa? Taehyung asked out of curiosity with his widened eyes. Taehyung, see, let me be very clear. Do you want to get married? Mr. Kim asked very coherently, making Taehyung flustered and shuddered. What? No, Appa, not at all. Taehyung shook his head in an extremely serious mood. I knew that you would refuse for it first. This is why I brought a picture with me. So please have a look. Mr. Kim said while taking out his phone, and he extended his hand towards Taehyung. Taehyung took the picture from him and his eyes again got wider. Vayan? Taehyung almost shouted, making Mr. Kim shocked and startled. Yeah, Vayan. Why? Don't you like her? Mr. Kim asked him while scoffing a bit. No, Dad, that's not it. Taehyung responded and shook his head slightly. Oh, so you like her? Mr. Kim asked Taehyung when he was looking at a picture in the phone. Yeah. Taehyung responded with a slight smile. Okay, so then you are ready to marry her? Mr. Kim further asked him, making more confused. When did I say that? Taehyung asked him with his furrowed brows. You just said, Taehyung, did you like her? And this automatically means that you want to marry her. Mr. Kim said with the same scoff on his face. But Appa, shouldn't we ask Vayan as well? Taehyung asked Mr. Kim, making him smile again. Then it's confirmed that you are ready. And don't worry about Vayan. Mr. Kushesh will talk to her tonight. Mr. Kim said and patted Taehyung's shoulders. Oh, okay, Appa, I'm leaving then. Taehyung said while bowing down, and he left the room. This news literally shuddered me deeply. This was unbelievable for me, but I was feeling very happy somewhere inside. But that feeling was really hard to feel. I was just praying not to meet Vayan, as I didn't have enough guts to face him. And finally, I stepped into my room without meeting Vayan. Vayan, is that true? You have agreed to marry Taehyung? Vaidehi asked as soon as she entered your room and closed the door behind. You looked back at her as you were looking outside through the window. Yeah, Bhabhi. You replied again when did your eyes around. Oh, congratulations, Vayan. She walked towards you and grabbed your shoulders, making you look at her. Thanks, Bhabhi. You replied to her and looked down, being a bit shy. Someone is blushing here. She mocked you a bit and pushed your shoulders teasingly. Bhabhi, please. You whined and walked away from her, towards the bed. She chuckled at your flustered state and walked to the bed as well. You know what, Vayan? I already sensed something like this between you both. She said and sat before you, making you look at her. Bhabhi, it's an arranged marriage. You exclaimed sternly, making her chuckle. Yeah, I know that. She scoffed and rolled her eyes playfully. Wow, how exciting it would be. I'm already excited. She shrieked out and lay down on the bed smilingly. By the way, when are we going back? She asked as she raised her upper body a bit while turning to you and resting her head over her palm. I don't know. You replied as you shook your head and gave a slight shrug. I'd ask your bhaiya. We would have to leave as early as possible, Vayan. She spoke up with a kind of desperation in her voice. But why? You asked and raised your brows. Yaar, we'd have to prepare for your marriage, Vayan. She said and got up to sit in the bed. Wait, let me ask your bhaiya. She spoke up and walked towards the exit, making a chuckle. You sighed and smiled as you dropped your body nonchalantly on the bed. You closed your eyes for a while smilingly to imagine the things that were about to happen in your life very soon. And then slowly, you again opened them with the same smile as you realized that no imagination could hold the beauty that a life itself had. You shrieked out all of a sudden and twirled over the bed a few times as you started reminiscing about each sweet and warm moment that you shared with him. You know, Vayan, we are leaving very soon. Bhabhi spoke up as we both were heading towards our respective rooms from the kitchen. Really? You asked Bhaiya? I asked her as I looked at her. Yeah, I asked him. She spoke and nodded her head. Well, good night, Vayan. She wished me as we both ended in front of her room. Good night, Bhabhi. I wished her back and smiled at her. She entered her room and closed the door after flashing a warm smile at me. I sighed and headed towards my room. And as I was on my way, my feet stopped on their own as I saw Taehyung walking towards me. And just like me, he too stopped by looking at me with widened eyes, reflecting that he couldn't be more surprised to see me there. Actually, same applied to me too. It was probably the first time when I was confronting him after we both agreed for the marriage. And I didn't know why, but it was awkward. I was looking at him, he was looking at me. Both our faces just had one look, and that was honestly confused. And after a few such more moments, I realized that it was getting more awkward, and so finally, I decided to smile at him. But before I could do that, he turned around and left, leaving behind a dumbfounded me. What was that? I uttered as my eyes didn't leave the spot where he was standing just a while ago. I guess he's as confused as me. I sighed and headed towards the room to get the eternal comfort of the sleep at the end of the day.